What's up, everybody? Today we're talking about fishing muddy water. It's something that may be happening right now for you. If not, it's definitely going to be happening this spring. Let's get into it. Thanks everyone for watching. I appreciate all the subscribers. Climbing up slowly but surely. I'm going to keep doing these videos 3 times a week. So you probably could hear it. Outside it is pouring rain. I tried to wait a little bit till the rain slowed down, but I'm doing this video anyways. You know, it rained 3 inches yesterday. It's supposed to rain 1.5 inches right now. So I know when I go out tomorrow, I'm either gonna go out tomorrow or the next day, it is gonna be muddy. And you know, usually that's a bad thing, but it can be a good thing as well, you know, because fish tend to get up shallower. You know, they're clear water, they get a lot more spooky. So muddy water, you can get into that shallow cover and catch fish very shallow. You know, so it can be a trigger to getting those fish to move up, to feed, to search, if you're using the right baits. There's a few rules that I follow when I'm fishing muddy water. And the biggest thing is color. You know, I'm a person that generally doesn't think color is the end all be all. You know, just stick with your basic colors that work all the time. You know, your green pumpkins, you know, your shad imitators, things like that. Something that looks like a crawfish for crankbaits. You can never go wrong with that. But when it's muddy, the biggest thing is just simply being visible. You know, and there's a few colors that always seem to stand out the best. And I'm gonna run through the baits that I'm rigging up right now for this trip. You know, some of it you may have not thought of, maybe it's some of your favorites, but these are things that have worked for me for years. So one thing I'm definitely gonna be doing this next trip is shallow cranking. And you know, talking about a square bill, you gotta have a chartreuse in black. You know, this is a Strike King KVD 1.5. You know, no secret there. You know, black, it's got the splatter black, I guess you'd call it. I can't remember exactly what they call it, but this one's always been good to me. And it shows up very well in muddy water. Same with white. Again, I like that splatter back paint job. This is a PH Customs balsa bait. So you really can't go wrong with these two. White or chartreuse show up very well in muddy water. Another color that shows up really well is a red color. You know, bright red looks really good in muddy water. It's also good in just in general when fish are focused on crawdad. So that could be clear, stain, muddy. Red is always a good choice, but it's definitely something I'm rigging up right now. So very simple, chartreuse, white, and a bright red color. That's what you need if you're gonna be cranking, in my opinion, because they show up the best. Now, kind of along those same themes, you know, I love throwing a chatterbait, throw them all the time, but when the water is muddy, it's either gonna be white, black and blue, or fire craw, which is what I'm rigging up now. It is such a great color early in the year when bass are feeding on crawfish, when the water's muddy, and it like the crankbait, it still works in clear water, but it really shines in dirty water just because the fish can see it so well. It stands out. Another excellent bait for muddy water is a spinnerbait, and the spinnerbait's kind of been forgotten about because we are throwing chatterbaits so much. You know, the swim jig's so popular, you know, swim baits are so popular. You know, not as many people are throwing a spinnerbait, but they are awesome baits. I think last year I probably caught more spinnerbait fish than I had in the last 5 or 10 years combined. It was just kind of the resurgence of it. I love throwing a spinnerbait, and when it's muddy, that orange kicker blade makes all the difference. You know, it's kind of non-traditional, but you're seeing a lot more of it now. You know, this is the Berkeley Power Bait one with the Power Bait skirt. I like this bait too because it has that longer hook. So you don't actually need a trailer hook because you have that, you know, that extra bite for fish that are short striking. So this is a really good spinnerbait. When the water is muddy, going with a orange kicker blade is great. Now, one thing I will do on a lot of spinnerbaits is actually opt for the single Colorado or the double Colorado. This one's got a willow, but that Colorado blade thumps a lot more, and that's something that helps fish find your bait when the water's muddy. So this is a good example for color, but I will switch this out for a bigger Colorado just to give it a little more thump. The other thing I love to do when the water is muddy is pitching. It's one of my favorite ways to catch fish in general, but I'm gonna be looking for shallow wood. You know, because of all that rain, the water has come up a little bit, so I have a feeling those fish are gonna be moving up into some of that stuff that may have been just a little bit too shallow a week ago, but now it's gonna have a few more inches of water on it. So they're gonna move up and I'm gonna be pitching to those fish. And one of the best ways to catch fish around shallow wood and laydowns, things like that, is a jig. So I really am a fan of a black jig because it stands out so well in muddy water. You know, but black is another color that is very natural. It's my favorite jig color, period, because it works so well in clear water, works good in stained water, and it works good in very dirty water. You can't go wrong with black. So what I'm gonna be doing though is adding this chunk, this electric blue chunk. I've caught so many fish with this big gaudy looking thing pitching it around when the water is muddy. This is the Zoom salty chunk, you know, nothing special. It's been around forever and ever, but that electric blue, or I think they call it flippin' blue. I fixed that one on there, but that is such a good color when the water is dirty. It stands out and it gives a little bit of pop. You know, it doesn't look natural at all, but fish can definitely see it when the water is muddy. Or you can just go with the standard black on black, which is a great combo as well. So those are things that I'm gonna be using this time of year. If it was a little bit warmer, I would get into some different techniques, like a swim jig. This is a greenfish swim jig, really like this. It's kind of a finesse deal. Speed crawl in the back, you know, nothing special there, but again, white, something bright that stands out. You know, this one's been through the ringer. Caught some fish on this guy this spring, but you know, I will have it tied up when it gets a little warmer and I'm fishing a little bit faster. For me, that's when the swim jig really shines, is that pre-spawn, spawn, post-spawn, early summer type stuff, when a lot of the fish are shallow and wanting to chase something like a swim jig around grass and other cover. So that's what I do when the water is muddy. I know it's coming up, you know, maybe happening for you right now if you got a lot of rain. There's rain throughout the southeast, Texas, Louisiana, tons and tons of rain. So that means water's gonna get muddy. If you live somewhere else, it's coming. I mean, once those spring rains come, once that snow melts, the water's gonna be dirty, and these things work no matter what. You know, this is the same approach I took when I was in Washington State living there. You know, when the snow melted and the water got dirty, fishing all over the place. These general rules will help you catch more fish when the water's muddy, because it can be really good, especially if the lake is generally pretty clear. Adding some mud, some color to it is gonna be good. So thanks for watching, I appreciate it. I'm gonna keep doing these videos. See you at the next one.